The Minnesota Vikings demolish Kirk Cousins and the Falcons, move to 11-2. We're going to get into our studs and duds and give our general thoughts on the game that was dominated yesterday.
Let's go. And of course, just like every show, and still the future quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings, as far as I know, giving away this card like we do every show. So get the hashtag Skols in the comments, like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get into the show.
All right, what's going on, everybody? As we said, your Minnesota Vikings moved to 11-2 after a 42-21 absolute walloping of the Atlanta Falcons, led by quarterback Kirk Cousins. I was gonna clip the part from last week where I basically called this game, where I said this was going to be the game where the offense was going to click on all cylinders. Jefferson was finally going to have a huge day, and Darnold was going to end up having a good day on offense. And we did that. I mean, 42 points, over 400 yards total on offense. Sam Darnold had a huge day. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison had huge days. Look, the defense, we'll get into them a little bit later on. The defense struggled for most of the day, until, around the fourth quarter. But it doesn't matter because we know that defense will be good and can be good at any time whenever they want to. We just know, obviously in the run game, we're missing Ivan Pace when he gets back. That's going to help a ton. But when you just looking at this offense, this is the offense you can win a Super Bowl with on this team. When KOC's in his bag and Sam Darnold's clicking and he's getting the ball to your playmakers, this is the type of game we can have. And I'm going to let you get into your thoughts, but first I do want you to stand up a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, there it is. That's a nice, beautiful looking shirt. Beautiful looking shirt. We'll get into that more. But anyway, what were your thoughts on this? Absolutely, the game that the game we've been wanting to see since the Houston game, and finally we got one.
Dude, 100%. Before I give my thoughts, let's do some shout outs real quick here. We have Bob Sweet with the 18-2. Let's go. So that means I'm assuming the bye and a Super Bowl win. Oh wait, no, that would be 19-2, right? I don't know. We'll take it. 18-2. No, Roger.
It'd be 20, wouldn't it? I don't know. Whatever.
Because whatever.
You're right.
We'll take it. 18-2.
Whatever. Yeah.
We definitely only have 2 losses for sure. So that's Super Bowl as far as I can see. Roger in the building. We got Skol Mafia, my guy. Sammy Dimes was cooking. Sammy Dimes just takes his name. Bleeding Purple. That was an awesome game. 11-2, baby. Yeah, dude. Let's go. Bleeding Purple. Salih the Viking. Skol. What's up, guys? Hey, what up, my dude? What's up? Who the Black Al Bunny, Big Dubs, Skol, FT Maddie in the building. Let's go. Welcome in, everybody. Eric, New Mexico says Skol brothers, Skol Purple family from me and Florinda and Raquel. Skol. What up, my dude? Delton in the building. Young defensive studs, number 61, 15, and 57. Probably should put what's his name on this list? Can't even think of his number. A guy that I kind of have to apologize, probably. Number 7.
Oh, yeah.
Number 7. We'll get into him later, though. We'll give him to him later. All right. I think we got everybody.
That's crazy. That's crazy. In a franchise that had Randy Moss and Chris Carter at the same time, to think this is the first time that we've had 2 receivers go over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns each is actually insane to think about.
Yeah, that is actually crazy. I didn't even know that until now. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, just jumping right back into this game. I think we can all say here, and I don't know who everyone in the chat, what side they were on, the Kirk Cousins or the Sam Darnold, or not even Sam. It had nothing to do with Sam Darnold, right? That was a variable that we didn't even see coming. But the whole Kirk Cousins things, I mean, I feel like it finally, everybody wanted to say, hey, Kirk Cousins gone. It's time to stop talking about him. No, we played him. We played him this year. And guess what? Now I think it's finally fair to put this to rest. I don't think anybody can debate that us moving on from Kirk Cousins was a bad thing. Now we're going to have a whole new argument to talk about moving forward here for the rest of the season. And that's probably going to be Sam Darnold versus JJ McCarthy as far as who's going to lead our team. We'll get into that more later on in this video of what our thoughts are on that. But everybody in here, definitely prepare for the JJ McCarthy versus Sam Darnold conversations that are about to take over.
Right. And I really hope that conversation doesn't get as heated as Kirk Cousins, because that is a totally different scenario. This is a good thing for us, right? These guys are both young. So basically, at the end of the day, with that conversation that we will have basically throughout the rest of the season and the offseason, it's a great problem. We said that going into the season. If we even have to think about at any point, can Sam Darnold be the quarterback of the future? That is a great problem to have. And again, like you said, we'll discuss that a lot more later. And I don't think anything with this conversation, it shouldn't be a slight on Sam Darnold at all. Because mainly the big reason why we wouldn't bring Sam Darnold back is because he's going to cost too much money. So for him,
it's the same conversation as Kirk Cousins.
Right. But in a better way, because he's showing us, hey, I deserve to be paid like a top tier quarterback. And if he keeps, and again, there's still a long way to go with this, right? But like I said it last week, I don't see the fall off happening. I think this is about the same Darnold. Like, he ain't going to be doing this every week, but this is about the Sam Darnold we're going to see the rest of this year. And that's the big thing. It's like, with all the money you're thinking about sinking into him, I think this would be the first time that most fans would say, if we, let's say, put JJ McCarthy to the side, most fans would say, hey, if we can come out of next year and get Darnold for $40 million a year for 3 years, if McCarthy wasn't here and they watch Darnold play this way, a lot of fans would take that, right?
Yeah, I would have taken him. I would have, if we had him on a good contract or whatever, and we didn't have McCarthy, I mean, I would say so far, I mean, there's more to the season. I want to see him in playoffs, whatever. Yeah. But so far, how he's played this so far this year, if we didn't have JJ McCarthy in there, we didn't know what we were going to do for quarterbacks, I would probably be like, all right, you should probably extend Sam Darnold if possible. Sure. But we're not in that situation.
Yeah, and again, the conversation about him being gone, that's the thing I love about this. It's not a bad thing. Like, it's not because people are like, oh, we need this guy gone. He's not like,
it's not Kirk Cousins.
It's literally because he would be worth the money, but it's just too much with how this team is going to be built in the future. And then we will have from after the Super Bowl, when we win it, till March to discuss that. But it's going to be a fun conversation.
It's going to be a big one, though. It's going to be a big one every single week. Everybody knows.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So.
And there's some good. The reason why Darnold is doing so well is we have a team around. I mean, I would say there's no question that Sam Darnold. I was just gonna say there's no question that Sam Darnold has really stepped up. Like, we can say a lot about the team, we can say a lot about the coach, whatever. We have to tip our hats to Sam Darnold by itself. But that being said, the team and the coach cannot be, as far as like the conversation between JJ McCarthy and Sam Darnold. A lot can be said about Kevin O'Connell and how he handles quarterbacks. He's a quarterback whisperer. Right, I'm about to just call it what it is. He's a quarterback whisperer, and I think he can do the same thing with JJ McCarthy on a rookie deal, and that's the biggest thing for me. Even though I said we're going to get into it later, but I guess we're getting into it right now.
And that's why, if basically end of the season comes around and they say, hey, Darnold, like you can, like we're going to let you go sign elsewhere, like that only fills you with confidence more that JJ McCarthy, that they actually believe JJ McCarthy will be that guy. And everything that O'Connell said, everything they're doing with him behind the scenes, it really does lead to that. But I do think it's going to be tough, because if you do let Sam Darnold walk, and let's say, look, if Darnold goes to the Jets or the Raiders, he ain't going to be this. He can't not at all. Like he's had the coach and their surrounding team to build confidence in him so he can finally play the game the way that he wants to, right? So if he goes to those teams, he ain't going to be doing this for sure. No. So, I mean, yeah. And so, I mean, if he were to stay here, I think he definitely would be doing that type of stuff. So I do think JJ McCarthy is the future, but for Sam Darnold, like, just go get paid, like go find a team that's going to suit that's going to suit your interests and how you play the game. And I do think the big thing, like you said, the big thing is he needs the right coach, quarterback, surrounding scenario, and there will be a place out there for him that is like that. So,
I mean, who knows? Like, Sam Darnold's young. I mean, he might have just needed the confidence that we've got. Like, there's a chance that he could go and be good with. He might not need the surrounding and the coach. Well, I think all quarterbacks kind of need it to some extent, but not to this extent. There's a chance that he got the confidence, and this is a big pivot in his career as far as having a season goes. So, I mean, and he's young. I think he could just end up being a good quarterback and doesn't need all those things to be good. Right. But I do think because of Kevin O'Connell and because of this team, got him there. I do want to answer this real quick though before I keep going. What's your thoughts on putting a tag? So that's one thing I was wondering because I like putting it because how much is a tag on a quarterback? 41 million.
I believe it's like the average of the top like 5 to 10 contracts.
10. Okay. So I mean that's definitely an option at this. If Sam Darnold keeps playing like this, there's a good chance that because people are talking about Daniel Jones' contract, he got 40 million for a year, 40 million a year. Well, if Sam Darnold keeps playing like this, the way he's playing, it's not crazy to say that he could go and make 40 million. So if that was the case and we gave him a franchise tag and there's a team that wants to give him 4-year, 40 million, the same contract, maybe there's an opportunity there to try to do that and get some sort of trade in the works.
Exactly. And that's what I think that's what it would be because I don't see them tagging him and keeping him here. I mean, this organ.
No, I don't. I don't see that
and
at
Kevin
all.
O'Connell, they're high class guys. I think this whole season was get 1 year with them and let him go. You know, if he ends up playing well, great. Let's send him off. So I don't think they would franchise tag him and keep him here another year. Like I think they respect what he's done enough to where they would like give him the benefit of like, you know what, just go find your next team. But I mean, if they do want to get a little nice from it, instead of letting him walk for potentially some points, those are 3rd round compensatory pick, you could tag him for tag him for 41 million, do a tag and trade. And then maybe, who knows, maybe you get a 1st round pick for him. Maybe you get a 2nd round pick instead of
I'll take any draft capital
down the road.
letting him go.
You trade him, you go into the draft with 2 1st round picks or a 1st and a 2nd, which we don't have this year. So
yeah, 2nd.
I don't know. I think that'd be a good idea. But again, I think they're going to do the best for Sam Darnold at the end of the day. Like if they can't find a trade partner and anything like that, I don't think they would franchise tag him and hold him back from being able to go find the contract that he's searching for. And if I'm Sam Darnold, like if they're like, I go get your money, man. Like you've played so well this year, like go get paid. Like
what up, Rory?
At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to for me. It's just go make your money.
From Minnesota, if you are too stupid to see that, you are too much of you people are full of whatever. Sam Darnold's damn well earned his right to run the quarterback. I don't know, man. I got to see him in playoffs. Rory, answer me this: Were you a Kirk Cousins fan? Because that's a Kirk Cousins answer right there, if I've ever seen one. That's realities. I want to see. You got to see how this person plays in playoffs before you're just going to sign him money and literally ruin the complete plan that Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell has set up by creating all this money and getting a rookie on a rookie contract to bring in Sam Darnold. Like people say it's a risk to let Sam Darnold go. You could easily argue on the other side of it. It's a risk to pay Sam Darnold and now just live with holes in your offensive line at guard position, holes in your cornerback room going into this offseason, holes on the defensive line with JJ McCarthy. If you think Kevin O'Connell can even make JJ McCarthy anything like Sam Darnold, your team is better off overall, probably.
Right. And that's the thing. And Kwesi, I mean, he's
I'm not stupid, bro.
Kwesi's done a lot of really good things here. But one of the things is since he's been here, he has not drafted well consistently enough to put that money back into the quarterback position, right? Like had he been able to draft and develop depth and some starters on this team, which out of his draft picks, it's not looking great so far. Then you could be like, okay, maybe then we could sign a quarterback to a bigger deal. But the fact that we think we're going to be, especially with the limited draft.
Hey, what up, Tyler?
We're going to be spending a lot of our money on other players to supplement the starting lineup, right? So he hasn't done enough from a drafting perspective to make you feel comfortable to where we can spend this money on a quarterback and not have enough to spend on a defensive tackle or a corner or offensive line. So,
well, especially when
I do think it is more beneficial to stick with the rookie quarterback plan. It was all part of the plan to begin with. But I mean, but here's the thing. Let's say Darnold goes off to the Rams or goes off to, let's say, maybe San Francisco, and he plays really, really well, right? And then you decided, now we're going JJ McCarthy, whatever. Like that's like that I see that as being a risk as well. Like you're letting a proven, at least for one season, a proven commodity in your system walk, and you're going to bring it. And then let's say McCarthy comes in, he struggles the first year, and he ends up not doing much. That's going to come down. I mean, sure, it's hindsight's 2020, but that could potentially be viewed as a fireable offense. Like you let a proven commodity walk for an unproven one, right? But that's the thing. It's like it's a good problem to have. Having 2 quarterbacks that could potentially lead your franchise for the next 10 years. But I'm so glad that I'm not the one making that decision because it's a tough one. I mean, and again, I think, but if you're Kwesi, you got to stick to the plan. Like your plan all along has been basically flip the roster, cut cap space, have money for basically, like you said, like that's why I know you've said it. Like this year to you feels like there's icing on the cake because our run starts next year when we have all this cap space to sign free agents. And honestly, I do think a lot of what we have for cap space next year is going to be going to. I think you got to bring back Cam Bynum, especially with how weak the safeties look right now. I think you got to extend Metellus again. And I'm team re-sign Byron Murphy as well.
We'll get into some more of that in a bit here, but
yeah, I definitely plan needs to be McCarthy and use your free agency or use your money to sign in free agency because you haven't drafted well enough to not do it that way.
Our future quarterback here, giving away the JJ McCarthy rookie card. Get the hashtag Skols in the comments. Like the video. We got 23 people in here, just 9 likes. So like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. But giving away the JJ McCarthy rookie card at the end of the show. Just on top of that, though, because the biggest thing out of that all for me is, yes, Sam Darnold, like bringing. I think it's more likely that the Vikings help Sam Darnold than the Sam Darnold's helping the Vikings. And I think that has a lot to do with Kevin O'Connell, who has pretty much done a lot with every quarterback that's been a Viking, including all the random ones we had last year. And it just comes down to the Kirk Cousins thing as far as you're going to pay someone and then you think like Kirk Cousins, we're in that same spot. Like, oh, you're going to get rid of Kirk Cousins. At least we know he can play well in this system. It's the same exact thing. But guess what? Kevin O'Connell has been quarterback proof for the most part. And I do think that's with Sam Darnold. And like you talked about, even before we got Daniel Jones, there's a scenario where you get a guy who's won in playoffs. We saw it right in front of us, won in playoffs, who has had a couple good years, including that 2022 year. And so if you get Daniel Jones on a super cheap contract and he's the backup to JJ McCarthy, I think there's a chance that Kevin O'Connell, now he has 2 quarterbacks that he could turn. Well, he could turn the career around for Daniel Jones, who was prior to this year. Nobody even would have debated Sam Darnold versus Daniel Jones. Everyone would have, even though we all knew Daniel Jones wasn't worth his money, everyone would have picked him over Sam Darnold. So it's like you can get rid of Sam Darnold, and now you have a backup plan. Could be turning Daniel Jones, at the very worst case scenario, turning Daniel Jones's career around. But best case scenario, JJ McCarthy is the guy. And obviously the coaching to everybody, there's nothing to not like about JJ McCarthy. He didn't show one negative thing other than this one injury throughout the entire training camp. People were talking about him potentially even starting week 1. So I don't know. I just think capping yourself with all the money, you got to go with the plan. You can't escape the plan. That's the reason why we walked away from Kirk Cousins. You got to commit, man. You can't take back to the Kirk Cousins things to win. If we're going to win a Super Bowl, we got to take a little bit of a chance. It's this, keeping Sam Darnold would be the absolute safe move that would hurt other parts of our roster. And if we want to really win a championship in the next 4 years, a rookie on the rookie contract is how teams are doing it.
To me, this won't be a conversation unless Sam Darnold plays super well in the playoffs and we get to the NFC Championship game. If you get that far, then I do think the conversation needs to be had, right? Because, I mean, once you see the proof that the guy can play in the playoffs, that he can handle the pressure of that. So to me, if he wins a couple games, then the conversation gets a little more real. But I do think at the end of the day that they do just need to be like, yeah, we could bring him back. It'd be great to bring him back. But no, we have this plan in place. We can go get some free agency. We can go get some free agents in the offseason. But either way, like no matter what, though, I'm super pumped for Sam Darnold because no matter what, he's going to end up getting a big time contract somewhere, and he's going to be set up, man, because he deserves it. And that's why we keep like, and that's the thing when we keep talking about how we want to go with JJ McCarthy. Again, this isn't a slight on Sam Darnold. It's literally just I don't think anybody's taking it. You are playing yourself into being unaffordable for us because you're playing so well, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
27. The dude could have another 10 years left of his career, which is the crazy part. So,
yeah, you just gotta stick to your guns. You gotta stick to the plan. And I'm not even having this like right now. Anybody like I get it. I get it. We don't know how McCarthy will be. First off, his injury is going to be totally fine. He's going to be 100% okay. I'm not worried about that. When he will be ready, I think it sounds like there's no question he should be ready by training camp unless something bad happens, which I doubt. So I don't know. You got to take your chance. You got to go. You have to stick to your guns. stick to the plan. And I'm not even like, I'll talk about it because everybody's going to be talking about it, but I'm not even going to have a real conversation about this until we're seeing him play like this in playoffs, because this is just Kirk Cousins, literally could be Kirk Cousins 2.0. Half the fan base was like, you have to not, it's a different situation, but as far as like, oh, we have the safe play, we know this guy, we know Kirk Cousins, can move this offense. We know he's good enough as far as just like, I don't know, adding stats and stuff like that. And I think Sam Darnold, it's a similar situation with Sam Darnold, except for it comes down for us, we'd have to pay them more money. But you're taking like some safe route because you're afraid. You're just afraid of what you're too afraid of the unknown of JJ McCarthy, which I feel like we've never won a Super Bowl in our franchise. We got to take a little bit of a gamble. I don't even think it's a gamble because your whole roster is going to be better because of it. It's just like Sam Darnold. We went into last offseason with everybody thinking losing Kirk Cousins was going to screw us because last year we took the same gamble, except for we didn't have any quarterbacks. We didn't have JJ McCarthy at all yet. We were going in it just thinking we need to take a gamble on JJ or on a quarterback in the draft, and that we didn't even have Sam Darnold. When we did get Sam Darnold, pretty much everybody thought it was overpaid and he wasn't going to be anything. So I don't know. I trust Kevin O'Connell, trust Kwesi. Stick to your plan.
Though I will say Darnold does have a skill set that Kirk just doesn't. I do think he has the killer instinct. He wants to take the deep shot and he can move.
I like Sam Darnold more than Kirk Cousins. I'm not surprised.
That's the one thing that I really do appreciate about Sam Darnold.
What up,
but anyway.
Hey, wicked shot. Give like Baker deal. Sam Darnold at least makes an MC championship. So I will say this: if he makes, things will get interesting if he makes the NFC championship, and it's because of his arm. Things will get interesting. I'll give you that. I'll also say if he wins a Super Bowl, if we win a Super Bowl, I don't care. I don't care what happens. I'll just say that if we win a Super Bowl, just
saying everything. I don't give a shit.
I'll probably still say stick with the plan, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, I'm happy at least for a couple years until we want to be mad again or whatever football fans like to do. But I like JJ. I really believe in JJ McCarthy though. And yeah, the whole rookie contracting, the fact that we're this good already before the stretch really began. What up, Dylan? By the way, you can answer this.
Because he's only 21, and if a quarterback down has a pop season, then he could sit and learn. I mean, that could be part of it, but I just think I do think it all. I mean, I don't know. To me, there's a reason why they tried to clear so much cap space throughout the last couple seasons. I mean, obviously we were kind of in cap hell with that and everything, but I don't think so, because I don't think that they want to get in a Jordan Love type situation where when you finally sure, let's say if he sits for 2 years, he'll only be 23. But then if he comes out and has one good season, then you're really taking a risk, because then you're paying somebody off of one season. And that's where I don't think they want to get into that scenario. I do think that this is their window. I think they were able to sell themselves on any quarterback they potentially could have gotten. Had they gotten Bo Nix, O'Connell would have said the same thing. Like, oh yeah, we really liked him. We think there's some things we can work with, and we'll turn him into a good quarterback. So, well, yes, Dylan, I do see that being a potential option. I don't want to get into that scenario where basically he's sitting forever. Then you got to pay him big money for little that he's shown. I don't know. I just say that I say start him as soon as he's ready next year. I think just for him and his confidence, if he's healthy, I think you basically go into the season no competition whatsoever. Just me too. JJ McCarthy's our guy, and he's proven that enough.
You wasted a 10th on him, and he's someone that I think is that type of quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, yeah. Because then you're getting to the point where, again, you're paying your money to a quarterback. The roster, let's be honest, this defense isn't deep enough to be consistently good. I mean, they're good, they're well coached. Flores is a mastermind, and they have good pieces, but there's not enough pieces at each level to make this like a really, really like elite defense. Like, they're a good defense, right. They're a really good defense,
especially this offseason with the cornerbacks.
Exactly. Like they need to use that money. They got to get themselves.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome in.
They got to get themselves some defensive starters. Like I'm all go DJ Reed, sign him. Get yourself top tier corner. Bring back Byron Murphy. I say draft a defensive tackle. 100%. Find the best one you can get, and I think you can pair him with a Jalen Redmond and pair him with a Harrison Phillips. You got,
And
I don't know.
Another thing I want to, and we should probably move on here, but another thing I want to put on top of that is just, I forgot what I was going to say. Another thing was, oh, dang it, I forgot.
We can move on.
No,
If you remember,
I forget.
we can.
Well, I'll remember in 2 seconds. Let me give this JJ McCarthy rookie card. Get the hashtag Skol in the comments, like the video, and subscribe. Okay, now I remember. So that's another thing. So go with, like, I think the safe play, even though it seems like the risk because you know what Sam Darnold is, and the safe play, or I do think it is a safe play to go with JJ McCarthy on a rookie contract. And worst case scenario, if JJ McCarthy doesn't work out, you have all these studs signed for like the next 3 or 4 years at least. And you can just go and pull, a Stafford type of trade or whatever because you have the team for it. So it's like your best case scenario, JJ McCarthy turns into the guy. You have a super stacked roster. Literally could be the best roster in the NFL if you have JJ McCarthy on. I mean, we're already one of the best rosters in the NFL right now. And imagine once we get all this money this offseason with JJ McCarthy on his rookie contract. And if he in a few years it doesn't work out, then you just make a Super Bowl winning move and go grab a quarterback somewhere else as a last ditch effort. And I think that gives you a better chance than signing a guy right now for $40 million a year. And now you can't fill a bunch of the holes on your team.
Yeah. So we'll see. Again, but the fact that we're having this conversation this late into the season is a really good thing. It's a good thing. And we talked about that when the season even started. Like, if we're talking about those two and should we bring back Darnold, it's a good problem to have for a place that doesn't have this problem often. We don't have two quarterbacks that actually everybody really likes, because I don't think you're going to
kickers.
Exactly. Even the people that are like, we want, like, get rid of Darnold, we want McCarthy to start next year. Again, none of it is because people don't like Sam Darnold. Like, I think you will not find a Vikings fan out there that doesn't appreciate what Sam Darnold has done. And we'll talk about him a little bit more here too, because we talk a lot about Darnold, but JJ McCarthy's the guy. But we'll give Darnold his flowers in a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to bring this back up one more time later, even though we started the whole 25 minutes. I should have known that I was going to do that. Before moving on, though, I wanted to check some quick stats fast, even though kind of running out of time here. Let me bring down this. All right. Anyways, going through the stats real quick. On offense, Sam Darnold, 22 for 28, 347. Oh, yeah, and I was going to answer this. As far I forgot who said it. I think it was Darren about Sam Darnold. Oh yeah, Sam Darnold having his best game of his career. I'm gonna up that and say Sam Darnold had a better game than we've ever seen from Kirk Cousins in this game. That was better against Kirk Cousins. Imagine Kirk Cousins and your replacement had this best game with your former team that you were on for 6 years.
That might be. I mean, got to think back a long time. That might be one of the best quarterback performances I've seen from a Vikings quarterback ever.
It's the first time a quarterback scored 5 touchdowns since Dante Culpepper. And I mean, it wouldn't have been crazy if he got 6 with Aaron Jones' last touchdown there. Like, there was possibility.
Big on KOC for going for it. And like, instead of just trying to run out the clock, let Darnold throw and you scored it. Like, I wanted 40 points and I love that Kevin O'Connell let him go do it.
Dude, facts. Anyways, 22 for 28, 347 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 4 sacks. Not a great showing there again, 2 weeks in a row from our interior offensive line. Aaron Jones, 73 yards, Akers, 37 over 100 on the ground. Addy and Jefferson, I already know, 8 receptions, 7, 133, 132. Even 4 catches, 45 from TJ Hawkinson. On defense here, we only ended up with 1 sack, but we had 2 interceptions and like 10 pass offenses. So up and down from the defense, but there was some good. And then on the other, speaking of the downside, Kirk Cousins, 23 for 37, 344 yards. Of course, no touchdowns. In our run game, over 150 yards on the ground, hasn't been good in 2 back-to-back weeks now. So that's that. And then let me bring up some PFF stuff really quick. Just take a peek at that. So on offense, the top is obviously Sam Darnold, 90.9. You got Jordan Addison with 90.7. Justin Jefferson, I mean, look at that. You got to love to see that. 89. And then you're running back at 4 with 80.8. And then Josh Oliver, 74. Hey, Young Smokey in the building. My guy, Kirk who? I knew he would beat the shit out of Kirk, but I didn't see a hat trick from Addison coming exceed. Yeah, that was like that game went like we were just hoping to win that game. That game ended up being like way better than any of us could have expected. Almost to the point like you got to feel a little bit bad for Kirk Cousins. Some people definitely won't, but on the bottom, Jalen Naylor, CJ Ham, Blake Brandel, who needs to get some glasses or something. I don't know, some contacts. Brandon Powell, and then Garrett Bradbury. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about Bradbury right now. Looking on the other side of the ball here, starting with Theo Jackson, only 11 total tackles. He did have a really nice play with 82.1. Byron Murphy, 76.4. Fabian Murrow came in and played very solid, 75. Harrison Smith, 74.7. My guy. Harrison Phillips on the other Harrison, 27.5, 28.4 from Asamoah, even though he did have that really nice play on special teams. Jonathan Bullard, 29.1. Camille Gruger-Hill, 31.3. And Jahad Ward, 35.5. Young Smokey, I see you, my guy. Also, good job of those all of the game. Kirk deserved to be booed. Vikings fan made me proud. I know he did get booed. He officially did get booed.
But then he did get some cheers walking off the field though. So,
I'm sure the Vikings fan felt a little bit bad. It was a moment for Vikings fan where it was like all the people that were the people who were not Kirk Cousins, like they won. And part of it, I mean, hey, Kirk Cousins did get the Achilles injury or whatever, but at the end of the day, there's still a lot of people who were hoping we'd still re-sign him. That's the reality is, I mean, the Kirk haters, I guess you could say, ended up taking it. That's just, it is what it is. All right, we better get into some other stuff here. We're already 30 minutes in. So let's go into our winners and losers in this game, starting with losers. We talked about it, allowing 4 sacks, Bradbury and Brandel. I brought up their PFF grade. They were at the bottom. Brandel was like second to the lowest. I don't know. They're both top 5 lowest. Bradbury was getting beat a lot. Brandel wasn't too terrible other than, again, like multiple weeks where he just like doesn't block someone and they come right in and ends up screwing us big time. Yeah.
Penalties as well.
And penalties.
I mean, yeah, and they did solid in the run game. Like we were able to get the run game going, but and in the second half they were able to give Darnold a little more protection. But overall, yeah, I mean, just 4 sacks this week. They allowed 5 last week. Brandel started off hot. He's starting to come back down to earth a little bit. I mean, Reisner's still playing solid, and Bradbury's just Bradbury. Like I don't know, it's pretty unacceptable. Like you can't let your quarterback get hit that much. I mean, should have been another sack on that big touchdown to JJ. Would have been another sack if Darnold, didn't have the mobility to escape the pocket and make the throw downfield to Jefferson, who, wow, that Falcons secondary looked rough there. I mean, that guy just fell over straight up. But yeah, it's not a good showing. I do think that they need to address at the very least, because I still think that Brandel's going to be okay. I mean, he started off hot. This is his first season as a starter at left guard, but they need to invest in a center. Like, I don't care if you got to go sign one or draft one. I don't care what you got to do. But you got to go get yourself a new center. I mean, Bradbury just ain't it. And yeah, it was.
And that's another reason why it's going to be really important to have the money, because there is guards and centers in free agency and cornerbacks. So not a lot of defensive linemen, but there will be room to go figure that out at least. Keeping on going here. I just put this, obviously the defense had some ups for sure, but overall you allowed 350 yards. You allowed over 150 yards on the ground. And again, in back-to-back weeks, we just could not stop them from getting it. The Falcons were getting into the red zone like every single drive on us. Luckily, again, we stepped up in red zone for the most part, but we're just letting them get getting down the field like every single play, and something that needs to stop. We need some 3-and-outs mixed in here, so games don't need to be that close. Right. Yeah. What was your thoughts on the defense?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, to me, in the run game, there was far too many just wide open holes for Bijan and Tyler Algier to run through. Like you said, multiple weeks in a row, not being able to stop the run. I think Greg Olsen was mentioning during the game that we have, we're only allowing 88 yards per game on the ground, but that's mainly because people throw against us so much. Because I don't. It's because they throw against us so much because we're pretty susceptible to the pass. And like you said, now the stats are showing that it's not just because we had the huge lead to start the season. There's just some issues with I just don't think we have the cornerbacks to run the type of defense when you can't get pressure. And that's my other big thing. Early game pressure is non-existent. Like Kirk had all day back there to sit and pick apart this defense. Plus, I mean, against defense, when we don't have corners that, we play pretty far off, we were playing a little more man yesterday, but overall we do like to play the zone behind those blitzes, and we just can't get home. And I mean, sure, later on in the game, I think once we tire out that offensive line, then our edge guys start getting home a little bit, but we just don't get enough pressure early on in games anymore. And they're able just to pick apart our defense short and then take us deep later on because we got to come up and try to stop the short game. So again, and I don't think it's scheme, and I don't think it's Brian Flores being a bad defensive coordinator. I just don't think and that's personnel. We thought this team very well could be a top 10 defense coming into the season, but I think we all felt like we just don't have enough top end pieces to become an elite top 5 defense, right? Like we have a couple edge rushers, we have a couple solid corners, we have good safeties, but overall, like we're still missing certain pieces here and there to make this an elite defense. And I think that comes from the interior of the defensive line, where you got to give Jalen Redmond credit. The guy's all over the place, but I still think we need one more huge, impactful defensive tackle, and we need to find our way into an elite corner as well. And I think, so I just don't think the team has the personnel to run the type of defense Flores wants to consistently enough. Like obviously, yes, end of the game, they come up with some of the big sacks. The defensive backs are, they're ball hockey. They find ways to get turnovers. But I think we can all agree, like this defense just doesn't have all the pieces to be exactly what we want them to be. But it's still a really good.
It's not far. Yeah, it's not far off though. No, it's not far off.
Players, I would say 2 players away from being like an elite top 5-ish type defense. But and the right coordinator, Brian Flores is the right guy. Like the scheme will work. It's just we don't have the right pieces.
Sam Darnold is playing his way to massive contract. So it's funny, he's young, Smokey. Yeah. We had literally talked about this for like the first 25 minutes, but we are going to tap on it again during the gauntlet. So we'll bring it up again. And answering this with Brian Flores most likely going to leave after the season, I think it's smarter to invest in great defensive players, lower the impact of Flores' departure, which means Sam Darnold not getting signed. Exactly. And one thing, I'm not going to like Flores, like it sounds like everybody.
I think he's back in 3 years.
Everybody I'm like, I don't really know how it works, but everybody else acts like because he's having his whole lawsuit, there's no chance another team is gonna be able to get him or whatever as head coach. So I don't know. I'll believe that for now, and hopefully we just get Brian Flores. But it is a really good point. Like Brian Flores he's someone that makes your defense better than the players that are on there. We just need to get the players. Gary.
I don't foresee a scenario in which DJ Reed resigns with the dumpster fire of that Jets team. He's going to be my top target this offseason.
Oh, I can't wait till
get an elite number 1 corner. And I think you can find a defensive tackle with your first pick in the draft. I know that people are talking about the Kenneth Grant, that other defensive tackle from Michigan. I mean, I don't know where I haven't looked into it enough yet. I don't know where he's going to end up going in the draft. If someone in the chat does have a feeling where you think he might go,
it seems like a lot of people think of like the teens. Maybe he could make it in the 20 right now. Anyway, we all know everything changes significantly in the off season, sure. But like I would say. Teens to like early 20s.
I saw a mock where is it Mason Grant? Is that his name?
I forgot it. I know. Oh, Mason Graham.
I saw a mock where he went number 1.
Yeah, we don't got a chance at him. We lost that one. Yeah. He was projected. That was like our projection before the season started.
Because everyone thought we were going to win 4 games and actually have a shot, but.
Yeah, he deserves it, bro. And I know that people say that he's on the Bears list and stuff, but we'll see what happens. Again, everybody giving away the JJ McCarthy rookie. Yeah, Kenneth Grant. JJ McCarthy rookie card. Get the hashtag Skols in the comments. Like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel, of course. Keeping on rolling here. Let's get it. So we only had 2 duds. That's all I had for this one. This was a great game overall. So now let's talk about the studs, starting with the one that we've talked about a lot already, so we probably don't have to hit on him too much, but Sam Darnold has the best game the Vikings have seen from a quarterback position in over 6 years. Probably a Case Keenum game or something like that. But no, Sam Darnold against Kirk Cousins, kind of embarrassing. 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Embarrassing for Kirk Cousins, who on the other side of the ball had 0 touchdowns for 2 interceptions. But Sam Darnold absolutely balled out. Again, towards second half of games, fourth quarters, he's just getting us down the field over and over again, making huge plays, huge throws. He had beautiful throws in this game and still just no interceptions. He has 10 touchdowns to 0 interceptions after having that bad Jaguars game where there was a lot of people asking for him to get benched and to have Nick Mullins come in, and he's bounced back for 10 touchdowns to 0 interceptions since then. Super impressive. Yeah, man. What other thoughts do you have on just Sam Darnold?
For sure. But first off, Smokey dropping the $9.99. Vikings enter the draft at pick 32. I just want a damn Super Bowl. If we want our rebuilding here, that'd be crazy. Absolutely, it would. And yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah, Kinetic. Where do you think draft wise Kenneth Grant's going to go? If you had to make your best guess, where do you think he would go? But yeah, Darnold. I mean, obviously, look, you and I
let's get him
way too many times after the Jaguars game. People were talking about moving on from him. We knew that was a little bit premature. Would I ever have expected Sam Darnold to come out and have a game like this year? No, he was amazing. I mean, he did everything that we've seen him do, and he put it all together in one game, right? Mobility in the pocket, escaping pressure, making plays downfield, using his legs when he had to. Everyone coming into the year, everyone talked about, like, after McCarthy got hurt, like, oh, McCarthy has so much aura, Darnold doesn't have any. I don't know, man. I think Darnold's got a little something to him, and he kind of showed it yesterday.
There now.
Waving the towel when the fans were giving him an ovation, which, I mean, look.
Aura can be found. That's what we're finding out. So anybody out there who thinks they don't got aura, you can find it.
Yeah.
But Sam Darnold has.
Justin Jefferson, one of the best players, non-quarterbacks in the league, a savior. Everyone in Minnesota loves him. Loud cheers when it showed him and Addison leading the wide receiver numbers for the day. But it got louder when they showed Sam Darnold's stats up on the board. So he was leading the league in passing for the day. And just, I don't know, man. I just really love and appreciate the way the fan base is appreciating how Sam Darnold is playing. And he said that. He's like, I had to give him a little something because I couldn't just let him cheer for me and sit looking all stoic on the bench. Like, it was a pretty cool moment for me. And Kevin O'Connell mentioned the same sentiment. Like, it's just, if, Darnold coming in this year, a lot of people didn't even want him here. Nobody thought he was going to be any good. And what he's done, like, no matter what happens at the end of this year, people talk about, are we going to boo Kirk Cousins? Are we not? If Sam Darnold goes to a team and he ends up coming back here next year, Sam Darnold will not hear one boo from the fan base if he goes and takes the money somewhere else, right? Because Sam Darnold, I mean, I think he's gained the appreciation and respect of the Vikings fans. And I just think it's super cool just to see how the fans responded to him yesterday. And like Darnold, and that's the thing. It's like, it's not the dude was put in so many crappy situations early on in his career. Just to see him finally like breaking out of it and showing what, yes, I do think Kevin O'Connell's a big part of it, but you can have the best coaching in the world. If you don't have the talent to go out there and do what you do, it doesn't matter how well coached you are, right? And Darnold, everyone knew he had the talent. He had the arm strength. He had the mobility. He had all that stuff. He's a risk taker. He likes to push the ball downfield. And we're finally starting to see all that come to fruition here with Sam Darnold. And I hope he goes somewhere where he gets to play well. I hope he has a really good rest of his career. Sam Darnold's made a fan out of me for the rest of my life. For the rest of his career, I want to be a Sam Darnold guy because it's just nice to see a guy who, unless
we extend him and he fucks us like Kirk Cousins.
Right. But no, man. Sam Darnold just such a stud, man. Such an absolute stud.
Yo, Gary, boys, I'm pretty much fucking. Hey, bro, Gary. Hey, what's going on, my man? You should definitely hit me up after this and let me know what's going on. Just keep it on going here, though. Yes. But yeah, Sam Darnold, obviously looking really good. We'll see what happens as things keep going, but let's keep on going with the show here. Next we got Jordan Addison, 130 yards, 8 catches for 3 touchdowns. And my boy Young Smokey in here again. They could never make me hate Sam. Oh, and I did want to actually mention that about, I'll put it up here. I did want to mention that actually because he did talk about his wheels, Young Smokey. He mentioned his wheels. That's one thing that's like the biggest difference and something that I've been screaming on top of my lungs to the point where it's not looking as stupid as it did before, but to the point where I put Bryce Young over CJ Stroud because of his ability to escape the pocket, even though now we're in a situation where Bryce Young is playing better than
Stroud,
what's his face? Stroud on a worse team, whatever. I'm not saying he's better than Stroud. Anyways, I've been waiting for a quarterback that can use his legs, and we are seeing that a lot from Sam Darnold lately, especially on the play to Justin Jefferson for the touchdown there. Was so sick to see, and obviously something that anybody that was ready to move from Kirk Cousins, probably the number one thing you were hoping to get from a quarterback was some sort of mobility.
Right. And that's why, like, it's funny because Ben Lieber on the
Hey, let's go.
Ben Lieber on the Fan this morning, like they asked if Cousins was here, what would our record be? He says the same, and he might even think that Cousins would have made a couple plays in that Lions game that won us that one. I disagree. I think if Cousins was here, we'd probably have twice the amount of sacks, and just I don't know. I think Darnold's ability to move around and help us win a lot of games. So no, I think if Cousins was here, I think we'd be worse off. I think we might be around a 500 football team just because his Achilles wasn't fully healthy. He's a little bit older and he can't move. And with the way our offensive line is played, we kind of need a quarterback that can move around a little bit. So yeah, I disagreed with that when he said it. I'm like, no, because Cousins doesn't have some of that mobility that Sam Darnold had, which led us.
I'm wearing this shirt right now because Casey picked Justin Jefferson this week.
You let me have him. You let me have him.
I know. Remember, you thought I had him, and I went and checked. I'm like, dang it, I don't. But yo, at Jordan Addison, I mean, I've been a huge Jordan Addison. I'll say it again. I'll say it because I've had Jordan Addison's back. Like ever before he even entered the league, he was my number one wide receiver in that draft. I had him chalked up to the Vikings. I was telling everybody I thought he was really good. Before the season started, I said he'd be a top 20 wide receiver. Statistically, hasn't reached it there. We're starting to see that now in the past handful of weeks. We've definitely seen that top 20 playability from Addison. We know he's been creating separation, but even in his slow starts and things like that, you know, I just knew Addison's this guy. And I don't think at this point, there's no question that this is easily Kwesi's best pick, but there's also no question that Addison, Justin Jefferson duo is going to be absolutely insane for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and I do think the injuries slowed him down to start the year. I also think the injuries are what kind of delayed him. What up, George? What kind of delayed him and Darnold being able to build some of that chemistry. But now you're seeing it. I think now that Darnold's gotten to throw to him a little bit, he has 100% trust. As you could tell, I mean, he chucked it down the field to him multiple times. And the thing with Addison, I mean, like we both knew about the elite balance and the speed, but the ball tracking is fantastic. Like that catch against the Bears was amazing. In this game, he was facing this way, literally got hugged and was able to flip around and get his hands on the football. Sure, he didn't come down with the catch, but the fact that he was able to still locate that ball was amazing. Just the way that they got, and like even on the deep shot where Darnold's arm got hit, he was able to stop, adjust, come back to the ball, and catch the ball and go for the touchdown. So Addison, where like everything that we knew about him, we're now just starting to see he's an elite ball tracker. And man, just having like at least for another 2 years having Addison and Jefferson on the same team.
Yeah,
JJ McCarthy next year when he eventually does get his turn, he's going to be coming into a great situation. And just Addison is impressed. I mean, I already liked Addison, but he's impressed me even more these last couple weeks, just showing he is legitimate. And I think as long as he can keep the off the field stuff away, sky's the absolute limit. Like I think it's going to be tough to retain him when it comes that time.
And with a quarterback on a rookie contract, it makes it a lot easier. That's for sure.
Yeah, for a couple of years,
and teams do it. Teams can keep 2 wide receivers, but we'll see because if he keeps playing like this, I mean, he literally can do. You got 2 wide receivers that can absolutely do everything. And like, I mean, if Addison was 3 inches taller and 20 pounds heavier, 15 pounds heavier, like he's up there with Justin Jefferson as being one of the best wide receivers in the league, I think. He just does everything. I mean, the way like you said, the way he can track the ball and like catch the ball through traffic and all those things against people who are like bigger than he is, it's just wild. Like he just has it. He has it. Yeah. But keep it on going here because we got another. Obviously, we talked about Addison a lot. We talked about the duo thing. We got to talk about the other side. I could have put them on the same slide. They both deserve their own slide this week. Justin Jefferson, also 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 receptions, I believe. I mean, there's nothing else we need to say about Justin Jefferson. Everybody knows how talented he is. It's just now seeing Addison flourish and other players around this team flourish, like you just know how significant that is going to be for us.
And when we knew, and again, I said it last week, we knew a game like this was coming. I was a little short. I did call this would be the week. I called 150. I didn't quite call 132. So I almost hit the yardage, but we knew this was coming. And a lot of this is because you can't double cover him now because of how Addison's playing. And then if you do that, TJ Hawkinson, sure, 4 catches, 45 yards, had a couple of big catches though. Like then he can sneak out and hurt you. And even Aaron Jones out of the backfield. So yeah, man, it's great having 2 great wide receivers. But it's just nice finally seeing Jefferson get back into the end zone and just finally see him pop off a little bit here. He's back. I believe he's like 7 yards shy of Jamar Chase. Obviously, Jamar Chase plays tonight for league lead in receiving. But yeah, we knew this type of Justin Jefferson game was coming, and I think it's going to keep on. I think he's going to have at least one more of these type of games before the season's all said and done. And every week, I feel like there's something where they say if Justin Jefferson does this, he's going to break this record. And he broke another one, quickest player to 7,000 receiving yards, or he's tied with 3 other guys for doing it in the first 4 years or 5 years or whatever. He's breaking records every week, and it's remarkable, man. So anybody that after the couple slow games said, is he washed? Jamar Chase is better? No.
That'd be crazy. Yeah, obviously super studs. Keeping on rolling here, though, to the other side of the ball, we have a couple to talk about, and that's starting. I said it earlier. I owe this guy an apology. I gave him a hard time all last week for being the number 1 cornerback on the Pro Bowl. I said that I'd watch him for these upcoming weeks and see how I felt. I thought in the beginning of the season, I don't even just think. No, his coverage was not good earlier on in the season. He did have 1 interception in those first handful of games, but he has really turned it around. I said 4 of his 5 interceptions were some of the easiest interceptions you could ask for him to come out and have one of the best interceptions I've probably ever seen. And it's just Byron Murphy Jr. has really stepped up. I hope he keeps playing like this. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm ready to give him Pro Bowl money or anything like that yet, but at this point, if we did go and try to re-sign him, it probably would be a good thing.
Yeah, and plus, I didn't realize this. He's 27. He's 27 years old, I think. Or is he 26? He's young.
27. I think it's 26 when he traded for him. Hey, Casey, even though he had 1 miss, Will the Thrill will hit from 55.
Oh, yeah.
Will the Thrill will be all right.
26.
He'll be all right.
He'll be 27 in January 18th.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's still super young.
He's still young, man. He's still kind of coming into his own. So I'm team extend him mainly just because the cornerbacks at this point next year are looking pretty weak. He wants to be here. They had extension talks last year, just never came to the number. They probably should have extended him last year because now he's going to be costing a lot more. Doesn't matter how easy the interceptions are. People like to look at stats, as we know with a certain quarterback we had here before. Stats do matter. So I do think he's going to end up getting a decent contract, and I think it's going to be here. And we'll see. But either way, though, like I've had multiple. I had one of my work buddies who was never on the Byron Murphy train. After that interception, he's like, "All right, Byron Murphy."
That's how I felt. In besides that, like you didn't see him we got beat quite a bit yesterday, 350 yards, and I didn't see him a part of that. And a lot of, he played good coverage on top of that, and all of his interceptions are big ones in the fourth quarter. This was a absolute dagger.
Yeah, and he should have gone, and there should him, Metellus. Also, I guess we'll talk about this now. Shaq Griffin, that's an interception all day long. I don't know what the refs saw.
Yeah, right.
London's other hand wasn't even on the football. Like some BS right there. If that's an interception all day long, stupid. But
keeping on going here, though, a new guy to our list here, and I do think he should be talked about. Jalen Redmond. We talk about weekly since the last offseason how bad we need some sort of pressure from the defensive interior. We're getting some of that from Jalen Redmond. He had 2 tackles for a loss, 2 batted balls, and he's really stepped up recently. I know prior to getting him, I think he led the where did he come from? The UFL or was it
USFL or whatever the XFL
the XFL, I think it was. But I think he led defensive tackles in sacks or whatever for them. So I'm hoping that we see a lot more of this guy here. And man, if he can just turn it, if he can end up solving that problem, that would be such a big deal. So praying that Jalen Redmond is like a diamond in the rough for the rest of this season here, because if he is, I think that really takes us up a notch as far as being Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and I guess talking about, obviously a huge game. It would be great to see him fill that role. But I also do want to talk about Gabriel Murphy, who finally got into the game yesterday. He did have an impact play. I know Kevin O'Connell said today that he kind of views Gabriel Murphy as more of a Van Ginkel, and he views Dallas Turner as more of a Grenard type player. So it'll be interesting to see how those guys develop in those roles. Because I know people are making a big deal because Murphy outsnapped Dallas Turner, but it kind of just is what it is. And a big thing though with Dallas Turner, he was starting to get a little bit of push yesterday. And honestly, Kirk Cousins was slinging it until Dallas Turner got that hit on him. So, and then after that, things did kind of change. So Dallas Turner did have a huge impact on this game with that hit that he was able to land on Kirk Cousins. So
all we know is we are good. We are good when it comes to edge rushing and outside linebackers.
Absolutely. So good to see. Good to see.
I had 3 snowmen in my yard that would have gone viral. Left my old guy crawling and rolling snowballs. Is it snowy there? You guys got some snow? I forget.
A little bit. It's been, at least cities area here, it's been a little warm the last couple of days, so it's starting to melt a little bit.
All right. We'll get into the gauntlet here, but first, anybody we released a short with our top 3 plays from this game, but I'll play it again on here for anybody who has not seen. So for our top 3 plays of the game, let's get into it. 3, 2, actually before that, again, everybody, JJ McCarthy rookie card. Get the hashtag Skol in the comments, like the video, and subscribe if you have not already. Appreciate it big time. Let's get into it.
Number 3. Sweep to lead him from behind. Can he do it again in the fourth quarter here? Wants Addison downfield. Comes back. Fights for the ball. And makes the grab. Number 2. 5. Cousins got rid of it right before he was hit. Byron Murphy with a one-handed pick. Number 1. He sends in here. Falcons bringing pressure. Darnold in trouble. Sam Darnold keeps it alive. Darnold on the run. Open man. Coverage blown. Walk-in touchdown. Justin Jefferson.
I could watch that last play over and over and over again, and it never gets old. Like that's a Sam Darnold career highlight right there.
That was beautiful. Justin Jefferson, perfect too. On top of that, I don't know what did everybody think of our top 3 plays. What would you guys put in? What would you take out? Of course, this is one of those games, which is a good problem to have. It was hard to go in and find 3 because we had tons of them. I mean, there's 3. I missed 3 touchdowns from Jordan Addison and another touchdown from Justin Jefferson. So that was a toughie there. Included actually, other plays, just talking about them, Metellus' interception. We talked about the Brian Asamoah. We didn't even talk about special teams and that big fumble on kick return. There was some good plays in this one.
The first Jefferson touchdown was a nice toss by Darnold, putting it right up, where only Jefferson could get it, and he goes up and gets that ball for his first touchdown since October. A lot of really, really good play. Like this was one of the first Vikings games in a while that was fun to watch. And I've gone back and rewatched the highlights and watched some highlights of the game over and over again. Like,
that was
the first game in a while that I've been able to.
Hey, big railing.
What's going on, man? Thanks for dropping in.
Dude, it's we've been waiting. That's one thing that we didn't say yet is like we had this stretch of ugly wins or whatever. This one against a talented Falcons team. This one was close for a lot of it, but we really broke this one open for probably like the best game we've seen since Houston, and probably between this game and Houston, those are the 2 best games of the season. And everything on like the Kirk Cousins scenario, like all the scenarios makes this one extra special. This is an all-time great regular season game for the Vikings, I feel like. So, hey, that's huge.
I would say Jalen Redmond's your guy, sign DJ Reed and find a way to get Ashton Genty, but you ain't going to be able to touch that.
Yeah. If we can there's a lot of, it sucks that we don't have a 2nd round pick because this draft is absolutely loaded.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping we grab, I want to keep Aaron Jones on some sort of contract if we can. And then I would like us to draft someone too.
Yeah. Which that is something we didn't include him in our winners, but Aaron Jones, I mean, you could tell he's running with purpose. As they said, the ball security was amazing. You could tell that those fumbles really bothered him. We saw the Aaron Jones that we expected to see a bulk of the season yesterday. So good on him for bouncing back. And even Cam Akers had a couple nice runs in there as well, like a huge run on that last drive to kind of get the drive rolling. So good on the running backs too.
Anyways, let's get into the Skol Gauntlet. So if anybody hasn't been here before, we each get 30 seconds to answer each one of these topics. We got game ball, biggest loser, Sam Darnold report, Darnold versus McCarthy, even we talked about a lot. KOC, someone we haven't really talked about today. KOC, coach of the year, ? And JJ Addy, best duo, wide receiver duo, obviously is what we're talking about here. Let's get into it. Let me know when you are ready.
All right.
We're going right through this one. No stopping.
No stopping. Just roll. All right. Which means you need to be better about your 30 seconds.
I'll try. I will. I have no choice. I have to stop no matter what.
Yeah. All right.
3, 2, 1. Boom.
My Sam ball. There you go. My game ball goes to Sam Darnold. I mean, 22 of 28, 347, 5 touchdowns, mobility on full display. This was the best game. Like I said, this is probably one of the best games that I can remember seeing a Vikings quarterback play. So much respect for how Sam Darnold's handled this season. Bounced back after that Jacksonville game. Put on a great stretch of football. 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I mean, I don't know how anybody else can get the game ball other than Sam Darnold. What an absolute monster of a day.
I mean, obviously, yeah, you can talk about Sam Darnold all day. 5 touchdowns. The like I already said, the most that a Vikings quarterback has had since Dante Culpepper. But since you already said that, I mean, I got to go with the boy Jordan Addison. I mean, come on, 3 touchdowns and 130 yards, and you might as well just throw Justin Jefferson in there too. 2 touchdowns. Like you said, the first time in Vikings history, we had 2 wide receivers over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Biggest loser for me, Kirk Cousins. I'm kidding. We'll go with someone on our own team. My biggest loser probably has to be Blake Brandel. I mean, obviously, I think he had 2 penalties. There was that one play where he didn't even block anybody. I still do believe that Brandel is going to have a bright future at left guard. I mean, they paid him well enough. This is his first season starting at guard. Everyone needs to remember that he was a tackle. But this was not one of his finest showings. He's had a couple of rough stretches as of late here. I think he's going to bounce back. But for me, this game, he could have caused a lot more issues than he did. But we'll see how he fares.
And that's another good one. I mean, Brandel needs some glasses. Like I said, he's just letting people in without being touched at all. And in 2 weeks in a row, it's been bad. So he has to get that figured out. But I'm going to go with, I just don't know why our defense is giving up all these yards and letting teams come right down on us into the red zone. Of course, I appreciate that we're not allowing a lot of touchdowns and a lot of actual scoring in the red zone. That's a big plus. But overall, we need to get that figured out because there's good teams out there.
Yeah. Sam Darnold report. I mean, we've talked ad nauseum about Sam Darnold tonight. I mean, look, people said after the Jaguars game, he was on track to make a lot of money. Now he's costing himself a lot of money. Now he's back at the point where Sam Darnold, I do think at his best, he can be a quarterback that can lead this team to a Super Bowl if things keep going well. Playing some of his best ball, he's in line for a huge payday. This is the right spot for him to be for this year at the very least to really get his career started, and he's showing it.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing else. I mean, MVP level type of play. Nobody's given him that respect. They came out with the Pro Bowl list or whatever. He was ranked 10th. I believe he should be much higher than that. Honestly, outside of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, I don't know which other quarterback you're putting up there over him because he's up there. He's got to be up there with leading the NFL in throwing touchdowns and with only 10 interceptions or whatever.
Yeah. Darnold or McCarthy, we've talked about this a lot as well. Like, look, I mean, I didn't really think about it that way until you said it. Yes, Darnold. I mean, I thought about that. Like, oh yeah, if he makes it to the playoffs and he plays decent in that first game, even if we lose, it's like, well, hey, now you know what you have here, so it's tough to move on from him. But I didn't think about the way you did, where yes, that would be the safe play. And really, it seems like Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell are kind of taking the unsafe route and getting rid of these players that you know well. So look, I love what Sam Darnold's done. I honestly think that he's playing himself out of our price range even, but it's got to be JJ McCarthy next year.
And you're right. Like, he's just going to cost too much money. Yeah, if we could get him on a 1-year deal, since McCarthy's coming off his injury or whatever, yeah, I'd probably take it if it was still cheap at the same price. But I'm not paying him too much money. And then on top of that, like, I'm not having this conversation. I'm going to keep talking about it. I know I will, but I'm not going to be serious with this conversation until we see him doing this type of stuff in playoffs. It's no point. We did this with Kirk Cousins. The whole Kirk Cousins thing was he was good in regular season, but didn't show up in playoffs.
Yeah. It's surprising to me how Kevin O'Connell's not getting more love for Coach of the Year. I mean, look, Dan Campbell's way up there. The only look, because when it comes to Coach of the Year, it's who's doing the most with the least is usually how it's voted, right? I mean, Bill Belichick could have won many then because that team was always good. Dan Campbell, everyone thought the Lions were going to be good, so why is Dan Campbell getting all this love? Kevin O'Connell should be the favorite. The only other guy I could think of is Mike Tomlin because that people didn't think the Steelers were going to be very good, but the fact that O'Connell's not getting more love for Coach of the Year is unreal.
Honestly, I think it should be an absolute no-brainer that Kevin O'Connell should be Coach of the Year. And the Dan, because right now he's Dan Campbell's the favorite, probably, even though his team was just as good last year. He comes back with the exact same players. Where Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings were considered they were expected to have 6.5 wins according to the Vegas odds, and with a Sam Darnold, the bust quarterback, has turned this into 11-2 team.
For sure. JJ and Addy, best wide receiver duo. I mean, they're up there if they're not because I'm just trying to think of other wide receiver duos. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith is up there. When they're both healthy, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins are up there as well. But outside of that, none really. I mean, Cooper Kupp, Cooper Kupp's aging. I could see them being up there. But I mean, JJ and Addy are both big plays waiting to happen all the time. Like, to me, they're top 3 at the very least, and probably fighting for number 1.
Yeah, in top 3, there's no question. And Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, in my opinion, I'm going to say they're 1A. Well, I want to give them one. I'm going to say 1A, 1B to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase right now. First off, T. Higgins, good chance he's not on Cincinnati next year. And Jordan Addison, we're seeing the best of Jordan Addison right now. If you were to tell me the last 5 games or last 3 games, 4 games, whatever the stretch was, I would have to go with Jordan Addison. They've been in the last 5 games, they've been the best wide receiver duo in the NFL.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know. I don't think Jameson Williams has shown enough consistently to make that in the running for top.
I think they're definitely up there, or they're up there, but not. Yeah. We're better. I hadn't taken, and I had a conversation, and my boy Don Kedick is still in here. I had a conversation with the Lions fan recently about, it was literally during the game actually, about Jordan Addison versus Jameson Williams. And this is before Jordan Addison maybe had one of his touchdowns at that point. And then it was just arguing and stuff, and we're watching the game, and then Jordan Addison is just pouring on the touchdown. So I'm taking the
Hill and Waddle
there.
I forgot about Hill and Waddle.
Conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
They've slowed down though, for sure.
Yeah, I mean Hill is kind of getting a little bit older now and all that, but yeah, I mean they're definitely they're definitely up there.
What up, Andy? What up? Hope Vikings take the North. Facts. What if I was going to answer this too? What if Sam wins the Super Bowl, Jamie? If I said this earlier, if we win the Super Bowl, just do whatever you got to do. I don't even care. I would still probably I'd probably still say go JJ McCarthy and go stick with the plan. But at that point, I'm not even going to argue whatever they did. You won us the Super Bowl. I'm happy. I don't care what you do. I don't even know.
Yeah, or do this. Let him go get paid. You can build a dynasty now because you can have money to build around JJ McCarthy.
Right.
Plus you have that Super Bowl confidence. Build a statue of Sam Darnold outside US Bank Stadium, and everyone's happy.
Yeah, give him his We'll give him his statue.
He gets paid. JJ McCarthy start with a Super Bowl winning team, start a dynasty. Patrick and then all of a sudden JJ McCarthy's got
JJ McCarthy is for sure. I mean, we just want to win a Super Bowl. I get it. But if we want to be a dynasty in one of the greatest franchise stretches in NFL history, it's definitely going to have to be behind the arm of JJ McCarthy in a stacked team since he's on a rookie contract.
For sure.
All right, what do I miss in here? Again, everybody, we are going to be giving away the JJ McCarthy rookie card pretty quick here. So get the hashtag Skols in the comments, like the videos, and subscribe if you have not already. Appreciate it. Best wideouts, Justin Jefferson, Chase, those two. Yeah, dude, they are studs. Absolute studs.
Can the Vikings clinch the playoffs this Thursday? Because I thought I saw some more. If the Rams lose to the Niners, they can clinch the playoffs.
Oh, for real? Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I could be wrong.
You could be right. Yeah, well, everybody gets them in, obviously. Another week, another Bears game. Going to be looking like
the winter whiteout. I am so excited for.
Got a napkin here.
I cannot wait to see those Winter Warrior jerseys.
Dude, it's gonna be so nasty, dude.
Oh,
it's gonna be so nasty.
Right up here. I love it.
Oh yeah, that's the helmet, dude. This game is gonna be so fun. We're about to see like the sickest unis we've ever seen from any team of all time. I'm super pumped about this game. Obviously, the way the last one ended, was almost one of the biggest failures we've ever had in regular season history. But this was a team we should have handled a lot better than that, and we know this is a Bear squad that we're just much better than, and we should definitely come in and win this game at home. So
right, but this is a big like honestly, every game, like Arizona's whatever, but I mean that game was kind of whatever. But every game since his last one has a lot of weight to it, and for a lot of different reasons, right? You had the Kirk Cousins week, which thank God that's over with. He came back here, we beat him. We can put other than a few Twitter accounts who may or may not show their faces on their profile or ever talk about themselves and only talk about Kirk Cousins. They're probably still gonna be talking about him, but for the most part, we can just push Kirk Cousins off to the side. We're past it. We beat him. We're done with it. But so that was kind of a big one to get past that hump. But now you got in your last 4 all NFC opponents, which is huge. 3 of them are divisional games.
Yeah,
and one of them is Seattle. In Seattle, A, could be a potential playoff matchup, and B, it's a place where historically we have struggled. I mean, I can't remember the last time that we've won in Seattle. The 12th man, it's a tough place to play. So all these games are NFC and weighty games for a lot of different reasons. But the biggest ones are obviously going to be in the division, and that starts right now against the Chicago Bears team. That I mean, look, they changed their head coach, and it was a disastrous day for them yesterday. This should be an easy game. Again, it's divisional. It's probably going to be tough, but man, the Winter Warrior, the stadium's going to be absolutely rocking for Monday Night Football. I'm excited, man. And it's a tough stretch to end the season, but if you really want to test the mettle of your team and see how good this team actually is, this is how you want to end the season.
Facts.
I mean, at Seattle, we
want all the smoke. We want all the smoke.
This could be the trap game because you're thinking, the Bears, whatever. Then you go to Seattle, then home against Green Bay and to Detroit, which you're going to be looking at those 3 games heavily. This could be a trap game, but I think O'Connell's going to keep these guys focused, and I think they're going to come on and have a good day.
Young Smokey, my dude, fucking always in here helping us out. You were right, guys. The Vikings would have clinched a playoff spot if both the Cards and the Rams lost. The Cards lost, but the Rams won if we win. Yeah, which was a crazy game. Which, speaking of, I can't believe they called timeout on that. Like, how stupid was that?
Brady was a little bit confused too. It's like, well, what are you doing? Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, why would you? Yeah, now
look. I'm not. Sean McDermott to me is overrated as a head coach. I mean, he's lucky he has Josh Allen. I don't know. I personally think that they should have moved on from Sean McDermott after last season. Like, you just feel you feel like you've reached your ceiling with Sean McDermott as your head coach.
I think what happens is JJ McCarthy doesn't work out, which he probably will. But if he doesn't, then you just go all in on Josh Allen at the time in the future. Yeah. Josh Allen has, 3 the first quarterback in NFL history with 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. Freaking crazy. All right, but let's get into it. Again, JJ, the future of the Minnesota Vikings. Hashtag Skol in the comments, like the videos, and subscribe. I'm going to get this all up for us here. Boom. There we go. You bring this down. Bring this over here. We got it.
I was wondering what you were doing. Like,
what happened, bros?
We have a Cardinals fan in the chat, and Gary's deleting his comments.
Fingers pointing Shabuzi. Did Murray have COD release this year? Did Murray win after the COD release? Yeah, get them hashtag Skols in there. Let's get this rolling right away here. Obviously, if you don't know, we pick 5 names to make it into the duck race. Whoever wins the duck race wins the card. You got to be here to win. That's our only rule. Let's get into it. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And that's what we get first. And it is Young Smokey.
I mean, he kind of deserves it. He kind of deserves a shot, right?
I mean, technically, we do have that rule either way. If you're giving super chats, we're throwing you in here. But it doesn't even matter for Young Smokey because he's in here anyways. My dude. All right, let's keep it on rolling. 3, 2, 1, go. Who we got next? Who do we got next? And it is boom, boom. Adam, I saw you a second ago. I know you're in here. My guy. Adam, let us know, but I'm going to keep on rolling.
He's here. Yep, we're good.
Hey, let's go. All right, who we got next? It is boom, Justin. When was the last time we seen Justin? Oh, you're in here. I didn't even know you were in here, honestly. What's going on, Justin?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, you in here. Let us know again just to make sure, but I believe you're in here. Let's keep on rolling. We got two more. And the next one is boom. Boom.
Got him.
Darren.
Hey, Darren called the shot. Darren, where was it? I'm due for a W.
Darren's in.
Like he said earlier, he almost got his Van Ginkel pick 6 prediction right.
Yeah, he did. Dude, that was man, if he was like a half a step behind or just like 2 inches taller or whatever, like that's a pick 6. All right, we got one left. And the final name is for the Duck Race is boom, boom, boom. Dylan Dotson.
It's been a minute. Oh, well, no, it hasn't. It's 2 minutes.
It's been two minutes. Oh, Dylan, you got to be in here, right?
Dylan, let us know. We actually haven't seen. I haven't seen Darren say he's. I mean, I'm sure he is, but
Darren, are you in here? Darren, you didn't leave us.
You better still be here.
Darren,
you
know the rules. It's our only rule, Darren.
Dylan's here. Darren, where are you? Oh, there he is. Okay, we're good.
There he is. Will Riker would not have been happy, bro. Will the Thrill's going out. He ain't missing another kick for the rest of the year. That's all I know. All right. We got the names. Let's see if we can get Smokey his unicorn duck potentially.
11 shuffles.
Set. 11 shuffles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, I mean,
more.
This is for 12 wins.
We went through the last couple of some interesting ducks, and of course, the one that we actually get to, they're boring.
Boom. This one's interesting.
There we go. I like it.
Smokey got purple duck, though. Smokey got purple duck. Dylan got alien duck. Darren, you got, I don't even know parrot duck? Or whatever those birds are called. Those are, I forget what those are called.
And then Justin is just a duck.
Appreciate you, Dan. All right, let's get it going, though. 3, 2, 1. Purple like my weed, so it's cool. Dang. Some purple haze over there. Darren taking the early lead with Smokey in second. You got Adam and Dylan, Justin just chilling there in the back so far. Still 30 seconds, so we'll see what happens here.
Darren, you're peaking too soon, I think.
We've seen it happen before, though. We have seen the winner, whoever leads ends up winning. It has happened. Oh, see, they're pulling back. Justin's pulling back. Dylan's pulling back pretty good. Smokey's really pulling back. Smokey's wants to bounce off that wall.
Darren's been consistent, but I don't know.
Justin's off. It's Smokey. It's Smokey. It's Smokey.
Smokey, you're right. Wow. What a comeback.
Smokey. Well deserved, my guy. Well deserved. Let's go. Let me turn this duck thing on. The quacking in my ear. All right. Yeah. Let's go. Another show, another JJ McCarthy rookie card giveaway, all that good stuff. Obviously, Smokey, I already got all your information, so that would be an easy one for me. Just final thoughts here. You know, obviously, Sam Darnold's turnaround. This offense is really clicking. It's a huge W, the fact that Sam Darnold has learned to use Jordan Addison, and I do think you see that chemistry, you see that confidence 100%. There's, I mean, many throws where there's players on like looking like almost draped on Jordan Addison for Darnold to give him a chance, and that's going to open up this whole offense. And we get to see that continue clicking in a whiteout game with the dopest fucking uniforms in sports history this weekend. So I'm super pumped.
I think where this right here, like this, what Delton said back here is actually how I feel. Like I think this is the springboard game specifically for this offense. I think this is finally where this offense starts to play the way that they can, and the defense eventually will catch up. I mean, I trust that. I trust Flores to have a good plan for the rest of the teams we play this year. I mean, it's going to be tough down the stretch. I mean, again, we've already talked about the teams we're playing. It's going to be a lot of tough football, tough environments to be in as well. But I definitely agree. Like, I think this is the game where that finally is where our offense is finally gonna really just springboard and just catch, like you said, catch fire. And I think we're gonna see a lot of big time offensive performances going out the rest of the year here. And that's what you want to be playing at your best in December and January and pushing forward into the playoffs. And I think we're gonna see that specifically from the offense. And they got to keep it rolling. Monday Night Football at home against the Bears. I don't know, man. I'm excited. I think this team is. I think we're about to peak at the right time. I really, really do.
Yep. Gary, love you, bro. Yeah, dude. Hopefully all's good over there. Hit me up for sure. I was just hanging back because I had to light my joint. I had to take a smoke break. Yeah. He got. That's. I don't know. I mean, is that performance enhancement drugs? I don't know if that. I don't know.
But yeah. Yeah, Smokey. I think that Seattle game is going to be a tough one. I mean, we struggle in Seattle. Tough place to play. They have some talent on that team that I think they're going to match up with us pretty well. I mean, they got some really good running backs. They have a couple really good receivers, so it'll be a tough game. But yeah. And obviously,
appreciate everybody.
We will be more in depth on the Bears game on Wednesday on
Barber
Report as well. Thursday right here, 6 p.m. Central Time. Make sure to join us for that on Thursday, where we will really dig into the Bears game. And
we're white for that one.
Yeah, I don't have.
I want to know. I want to be thinking everybody during that show is wearing white.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're gonna have to wear your white. I'm gonna be white.
I'm gonna be wearing white for sure.
Anything that's really white, but I'll find something. But thank you guys again so much for joining us. We'll see you guys on Thursday right here, 6 p.m. Central Time. Have a great rest of your Victory Monday. We'll see you guys then.
Go Vikes.